Hi, welcome to Fundraising Confessions, the truth behind the profession. I am your host, Rochelle Jerry of Jerry Consulting Group, and today I'm joined by Kristen Blome, my friend and colleague. We are buddies in the Indiana Philanthropy Alliance, John Mutz Philanthropic Leadership Institute, and I am so proud to know you and to be in this cohort with you. Welcome, Kristen.
Oh, thank you so much, Rochelle. I can say the same about you. Proud to know you, and it's good to be here.
Thank you. And Christian, you are president of the Being for Others Health and Wellness Foundation in Southern Indiana. Christian is a nationally respected leader whose career spans higher education, workforce development, community engagement, philanthropy, and nonprofit leadership. So I am excited to dive more into your background and hear about all the amazing things you've done that has led you to this point. So tell us a little bit about you and how you became president of the Being for Others Health and Wellness Foundation.
Oh my goodness. Well, it all started in the seventh grade. If we want to go way back, was my very first fundraising campaign. Good old student council.
Yeah.
I had an idea we needed to spruce a spot in my little hometown of Vincennes, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And so on my lunch hour, I started calling local businesses, just like I was a little professional. And I asked them to donate money to help spruce up the community. And believe it or not, I convinced, gosh, I think we pulled in over $1,000, and we did. They were like, $200 to $300 per spot in the community. The student council went out, planted flowers, and anything. That was my first taste of fundraising. Loved it.
Yeah.
And kind of it awoke something in me that realized the power of, like, when people come together, you can create change or impact in your community, like something you can see, like I would drive with my parents, to the grocery, and we'd drive by that spot. I was so proud.
Absolutely.
Both my parents were school teachers, public school teachers, so really passionate about service. They raised me with kind of a social justice mindset. They didn't call it that, but they were very active in the community and passionate about helping and serving others. And so kind of cultivated that in me. And so, I got involved in most of my career, like you said, was in higher education, but I've always been involved with nonprofits in my community, volunteering or serving on boards, a lot of fundraising, because I enjoy fundraising. And so I usually get put on that committee. And then in January of 25, I had the opportunity to join the BFO Foundation as their president, and have been here since January. We are what's called a healthcare conversion foundation. So our local rural independent hospital joined a larger system. And when that affiliation happened, the system gave a gift of $20 million to the community or the region served by the hospital. And that's what birthed the BFO, or the Being for Others Health and Wellness Foundation. Being for Others was kind of the tagline of our local hospital. And so we've adopted that.
Yeah.
And now we give grants and to the service region, which is Du Bois County. We're in Jasper, Indiana. The hospital's in Jasper, and it serves Du Bois and the surrounding 7 counties. And so we give grants to the service region of the hospital to help overall community health, really focused on the social determinants of health. So thinking about the root cause of negative health outcomes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and so you were there from its inception, from the ground up?
So I was actually a board member. The affiliation happened in February of 2024, and I joined the board in March of 24, which is when the foundation was being created. So I started out as a board member, and then moved over into the staff role in January of 25.
Wow, that's awesome. So did you distribute any of that money as like a grant in a grant cycle
You
once you received that gift?
you bet. So the original gift was made in 24,
Mm-hmm.
and that it was invested. Of course, it's an endowment, so we don't plan to ever touch the principal, but only grant off of the interest and dividends. And launched our first programming in 2025. For 2025, we did a traditional kind of what I call traditional project grants, where you see this a lot of foundations where there's like an open call or cycles for
Yeah.
nonprofits to apply to.
Yes.
We ran 3 of those cycles in 2025 and gave out just over $650,000 in grants. But before that, there was a whole lot of work to set up structures in the background and granting priorities and divide the work. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Christian, so you got to dive into that a little bit, because I know our viewers would love to hear about establishing the governance, the grant making strategy, the operation, the community engagement. We could talk about so many things of getting that off the ground. And how many counties did that include?
8 counties, 8 rural counties in southern Indiana, like just south of Indy. If you just go straight south of Indy, that circle in southern Indiana is where we're at.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome, because most people inherit systems, right? You were tasked with like building the foundation from scratch, right? So talk a little bit about any of those areas that has surprised you most in creating that that philanthropic institution, right? The relationships, the partnerships, and advocating, and all the things.
Great question. What surprised me the most?
Right, so get comfy, huh?
I know. So it all started with a listening tour. Like I hit the ground and was I gotta hit the road. I gotta meet people face to face. I gotta show up. I gotta listen, ask probing questions.
Yes.
I think what was surprising the most was the themes. They're quickly emerged themes of need across all 8 counties. And even though all 8 counties are rural, there are pockets of like Du Bois County, for instance, is kind of a manufacturing hub for the state. We're really big in wood products and turkey and egg products and transportation. there's engine remanufacturing that's huge here, just large global companies tucked away here in little old Du Bois County. So you've got like lots of jobs in pockets in this 8 county region, but then also a lot of poverty as well. So I was expecting the needs to be more diverse, and the themes were pretty consistent, tying back to social determinants of health. Housing that everyone can afford, quality housing was a theme across the board. Food security and access, transportation across the board, a challenge for everyone. And number 1, mental health and substance use support, number 1 need across the 8 county region. So that the quick alignment in what those needs were was surprising.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I mean, because as fundraisers, right, as development professionals, always keeping an eye on fundraising, that listening session is huge.
Yes.
Right. So being able to conduct that on a multi-county level, right, throughout the region, and to get that community feedback to help you within a year with that grant making strategy is awesome. So congratulations to you for doing that. Are you in a cycle right now? Where are you?
Okay, so 2025, we kept it simple with kind of those 3 what I call traditional grant cycles. While we were launching that, we engaged a consultant to come in and help us think more strategically about our programming.
Yeah.
We kind of had to quickly spin up the programs for 2025 to meet our IRS. We're a private foundation, so we have an IRS required spend of 5% each year.
Yeah.
So I had to get a mechanism to get money out the door, but I also wanted to think more strategically about our, what I call vehicles, our programs. So we went through this operations strategic planning for about 6 months in 2025, looked at innovative programs in philanthropy across the country to say, what can we copy? What can we borrow from other states where, especially in rural communities where they're having real impact and seeing change that philanthropy is driving? And the consistent theme we found through that process was collaboration. When you can pull together nonprofits, when you can pull together, schools, the for-profit sector, and you can braid funding together, when you can get all those kind of community movers and shakers at the table, there's something special that happens. And so we worked with a consultant to build a program in 2025 that we just launched in 2026 called our Community Collaboration Program. We're gonna we're gonna award community collaboration grants for 3 years, beginning this year, and then another set next year, another set in 28. We just announced our 2 community collaborations for 2026. And actually just did the check presentation this morning in Orange County in Paoli. Nice. It was awesome. The energy and momentum that they have in Orange County is really exciting. Their project is focused on housing stability.
Yeah.
And so affordable housing. And thinking about this, I just came back from the Grantmakers in Health conference in Baltimore. Give a little shout out to CIH last week. Phenomenal. Put it on your calendar for next year. It knocked my socks off, exceeded all my expectations.
Great. I'll make sure we put it in the description with a link so people can plan to attend that and be a part of that. Good. Yeah, that's so amazing.
It was so good. We had a great conversation about social determinants of health, and this was for grant makers, and about how of all the social determinants of health, if you don't have housing stability, it's really hard to create stability in any of those other social determinants. If you don't have housing stability, it's hard to pursue education and training. It's hard to get a stable job. It's hard to access healthcare. It's hard to have food security if you don't have basic housing, And so I went on this fabulous field trip in Baltimore. Baltimore has got it going on. They're investing in housing stability and healthcare for the homeless. Amazing. Went to a whole healthcare facility just for homeless people. And I'm bringing all of that good info back here, and excited to support the good folks in Orange County who are going to tackle this. It's a 3-year partnership they're entering in with BFO starting this year. The program is designed kind of backwards from your traditional grant application. Traditional grant, you come with a solution. I need some equipment, I need a person, I need a building, I need a curriculum. You've got a thing that you need funding for. Whereas community collaboration, we're kind of doing it backwards. We're wanting to first explore a challenge. So we're wanting to pull a community together around a challenge, and we're funding in the year 1 bringing in a professional facilitator to guide the mapping of assets, to identify gaps and challenges that the community identifies and prioritizes. And then it culminates the end of year 1. It's like your traditional planning grant with, like you'd see Lily do. It culminates at the end of year 1 with a plan that is informed by the community. This is a community-informed plan. And then we provide the bulk of the funding in years 2 and 3, all towards implementing the plan. And it's seed funding. So we challenge the partners that, all these community people coming to the table hopefully can match what we're putting in the pot. We're putting in $200,000 for implementation. And we're hoping that all those partners will kick in funds too and build, sustainable funding long-term.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh,
more to come.
Much success to you and that model. I mean, kudos to you for including the community collaboration initiatives, because why create something in the community? You're not even asking them what they want, right?
Exactly.
So ask
Exactly.
people what they want and need in the community and build it together.
And that's
So,
our mission as a foundation, is to create a culture of health and wellness for the betterment of our communities. But
mhm,
we really want our individual communities to tell us what that means. Like,
yeah,
what do they prioritize for health and
yeah,
wellness locally? And then we want to come alongside them and support it.
yeah, yeah. So, quick question though. So you have me just thinking about all the different areas. So, economic, like mobility and pride, and what else are you seeing as you talk about these community collaborative initiatives?
So I mentioned mental health earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and so our second collab that is funded for this year is in Du Bois County. There's 4 school corporations that have come together around youth mental health. Right, this is
Nice.
something that, as a foundation, we were overwhelmed with requests last year from school corporations wanting more social workers. That
Mm-hmm.
you know, I hate to use the word crisis
Mm-hmm.
loosely, but there's a huge challenge our schools are facing with youth mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started getting all these requests for funding to say we need another social worker. We need to go from part-time to full-time. We need to add another position. There's just so much need within our youth today. And so the school corporations in Du Bois kind of came together, and they think that there's a connection between screen time, both
Mm-hmm.
in the schools and outside the schools, that could be negatively impacting mental health for
Mm-hmm.
youth. And so they're going to explore that over the next 3 years, again, bring in an expert and try to maybe build maybe inform the school corporations as they make decisions about what the teachers are going to be doing and how much
Mm-hmm.
tech, and
Mm-hmm.
the one to rethinking the one-to-one device and how
Yeah.
devices are used. And so I'm really excited. I know that's not exactly economic
Yeah.
development, but that's the other biggie. We did get there was a finalist that didn't get funded this year, that was around economic development and training, and trying to
Mm-hmm.
pull together, especially in rural communities. It's
Mm-hmm.
transportation is a huge challenge
For
for
sure.
education and training. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
something that I think we'll come back to in future years.
Yeah.
And transportation broadly too, because that definitely hits on education and access to jobs, right? You've got these
Mm-hmm.
pockets of high wage jobs in the rural region, but it's like, if you can't get to that job, you know?
Right. Oh my goodness. Now you touched on workforce development and that talent retention and,
I know.
all of those pathways that also, that whole economic development, that pride of where you
Yes.
live. And, so when you think about, so now I thought about something else, Christian. I knew this was going to happen with you. So when people think philanthropy, they often think major cities, right? Major
Right.
donors or superstar donors, right? What are they missing about the innovation happening in rural communities right now?
Wow. Where I think I see rural communities, gosh, where the innovation is happening, there's so much pride of community.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have, I didn't say in the beginning, I'm a Southern Indiana guy. I born
Mm-hmm.
and raised in
Mm-hmm.
rural. I was
Yeah.
born in a rural community. I live in a rural community now. And so um, I did work for like 14 months in an urban community, but
Yeah.
for the most part, what I know is rural, and there's so much pride of community and closeness, tight knitness.
Mm-hmm.
There's a take care of your neighbor kind of mentality. And
Yeah.
so sometimes philanthropy in rural communities doesn't look like financial resources always. It can be a whole lot of things. It can
Yeah.
be building ramps for those
Mm-hmm.
who are wheelchair bound. It can be I know there's some initiative locally with building beds for kids that are sleeping on the floor, right? That don't have a physical bed. So there's a pulling together, similar approach to like Habitat, right? Where, show up and give how you can give, I think is big in rural communities.
Yeah.
I also think, I know in your bigger communities that business and industry are usually big givers. I see that in rural communities too. The big, everything from like the bigger regional businesses to the national businesses to the mom and pop stores, you really see a sense of almost like an obligation to give back, to that sense of pride in the small community that they exist in.
Yeah.
It feels special. I hope it is special.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, I was born in McLean County in Illinois, so which used to be a small town. It's a little bigger now. It used to be a small college town, and so. But I wanted to touch on your fundraising success in higher ed, and your experience going from higher ed, and like how that has influenced the way you may approach philanthropy and what you're doing today.
Yeah, I think, my background in higher ed kind of cultivated kind of a sense of curiosity, kind of a lifelong learner. Education, I think, is also big on relationships, right? In engaging a learner, in retaining a learner, in getting a learner across the finish line.
Yeah.
There is, there's an intimacy about that whole kind of timeline when you walk with someone and see a transformation happen, that it kind of informs my approach to life and my value of people and relationships and just how much people matter. And that I'm a firm believer in like what you put out in the world is what comes back to you. And I think that's like just a core principle of fundraising, that if you're a giver, you're a perfect person to be a fundraiser, hopefully if you are a professional fundraiser, hopefully you can look yourself in the mirror and recognize yourself as a giver. And that I think that can really give you a lot of like street cred. It builds you a lot of equity. Like if your personal brand in the community is as a giver, then people will give back to you, like people can sense that authenticity, I think.
Yeah. And we know when trust happens, that's when the magic happens.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
In every form. And you're able to advocate for all the tools and resources you need to make the magic happen.
Yeah.
And so what else do you have going on? Do you have anything you like to highlight with being for others?
Yes.
I knew you would.
So I've been thinking about, I've noticed something, being new to this work, and I was always on the other side. Right? I was always on the asking side, the grant application side, the starving nonprofit side. That was me, that it's so personal, right?
Yes.
Like when you are filling out these applications and you're putting your heart and soul into this nonprofit work, and a lot of times you volunteer for the nonprofit because you care personally, it like connects with who you are as a person. So we get so personally wrapped up in the ask, that it can make the no so painful.
Yes.
Yeah. It can be so personal.
Yeah.
And so now being on the side where I'm delivering all these no's, I'm just like, I wish I could have had this perspective previously. And so a couple of things if you're out there, if you're doing the grind, you're filling out all these applications and you're making all these asks on behalf of your organization, I just want to encourage you in that just because you get a no, it doesn't mean that there was a deficit with your application. It doesn't mean that it was a bad idea. It doesn't mean that you're not a good grant writer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that your organization's bad. It doesn't mean that, I'm just going to say it doesn't, all the things that are rushing through your mind and the judgments that you're playing, just from the simple no, I think there's like 1,000 judgments that flood through our minds.
Yes.
Just tell yourself no, like quiet that voice.
Yeah.
And just know sometimes, many times, at least from my experience so far, it is trying to balance equity as an organization and thinking about, okay, we have these funding priorities, we have funding geography.
Yes.
We're only able to fund about 20% of the ask coming our way. So 80% are no's. So a lot of times it's just about us trying to create some equity, not anything about the applicant themselves necessarily.
Thank you for that. A lot of times people want to know, applicants, want to hear from the grant makers and have that reassurance. So, so thank you for that. And so as you move through this work, what other resources, are there any books that have given you any leadership advice that you want to highlight for our audience? Our audience likes books and titles. I receive notes about things that they've heard on the podcast from different interviews. And I received messages saying, hey, I saw this resource and I read the book and it was super helpful. So what about you, Christian?
Yes, a big fan of Jamie Levy, Levy. He's written a lot on the world of philanthropy. In particular, there's a book called I'm a Board Member, Now What? So this is a book that is for, if you're on a nonprofit board and you all are on the struggle bus, which we're all on the struggle bus, everybody's spread thin and, not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
This is a short read. It's a quick read, but it can help it's a professional development you want to do together as a board, read a chapter together, and come back and discuss.
Yeah.
It's got a great focus on the responsibility of every board member's responsibility to raise support for the organization.
Yeah.
That can look differently. Sometimes you have a professional fundraiser on the board and they can't make the physical ask. That's okay, but they can sure help with writing the structure of the campaign. They can do a lot more things.
That's right.
That doesn't get everybody off the hook, from making I'm just saying the people that legally cannot make the ask. Okay, they get a pass.
Right.
But everybody else, there really is a role, and it's okay to be uncomfortable with that. No, it's like riding a bike. It's awkward at first. You're trying to figure out your equilibrium and trying to, everything at first is awkward, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a muscle that you can train and that you can work alongside with another board member. If there's someone that's more experienced and, hey, become best buds with that one, go along to an ask with that person, whatever it might be. But long story long, this book, I'm a Board Member, Now What? By Jamie Levy. Fantastic for somebody looking to develop and grow their board acumen.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the last two things before we get out of here, Christian. So let's give a shout out to our Indiana Philanthropy Alliance friends.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, Madison and Kirsten. We appreciate you very much for all you do, for all the work around the state.
Join, right? If you're not an IPA member, join IPA. It's an awesome organization. So glad to be a part of the Alliance.
Absolutely. And what gives you hope about the future of Indiana philanthropy?
I think philanthropy is our hope for the future.
Yes, say it again, Christian.
Philanthropy is our hope for the future. So I feel so fortunate to be in the world of philanthropy because I think we are that voice. I think we are that light. I think we're that vision. We can bring a vision of hope
For sure.
forward.
Yes.
All good
Yes.
things. You know, you look back through the history of our civilization, and when there was
Mhm.
innovation, when there was social change, when there was improvement, it was driven by philanthropy. And so I feel so fortunate to be a part of this movement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So fund the future you want to see. You are one
Yes.
courageous conversation away from being funded. Fund your freedom.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Christian. This is Rochelle Jerry, Fundraising Confessions, the truth behind the profession. We thank you for joining us today, and you can find us everywhere. As my 11-year-old daughter says, search it up, Google me, consult with Jerry.
Thank you so much, Rochelle.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.